Hi guys. Welcome back to RT Share Tea, where respiratory therapists live out loud. With me, your host, Linda Fry, the Asthma Lady. Yes. Welcome everybody. Welcome to anybody new. I hope you had an amazing MLK Day this week. I want to give a big shout out to my guest co-host last week, Teresa Griego, who came on and shared her perspectives on just being a professor, a keynote speaker, and an RT advocate, and sharing all her stuff on social media. So you could check her out on RT Out Loud, on her YouTube channel, and all her social media platforms. Yes, she was an amazing guest co-host. So today the vibe is we're going to talk about overcoming the fear of sharing your story or storytelling, and I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. Okay, so we all saw over the past couple of weeks the Dermot and Hamlin story, which is the young man who was a football player on the Buffalo Bills, who went into cardiac arrest because he got hit during the game, and the nation saw him get performed CPR on, and they've never seen that in real time before. And what I loved about this story was the positivity. Well, he made it, so that's really what I loved about it. And he is such an amazing person, because it's just shown that he is loved by his people, how much he does for his community, the love for his team, and it was just such a great story. What it also did was it definitely shows the importance of the medical team and the respiratory therapists. They gave a huge shout out to the RT on the field and in the hospital, and I believe the respiratory therapist name is John Bush. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I got the story messed up, but huge shout out to him and the UC Medical Center Hospital team, respiratory care team. So what I did was, when I stored this, so mind you, I don't watch football. I don't watch football. But what I once again loved about this story and why I shared it was because it was like show and tell in real time what we do, like what the respiratory therapists do. You would never think that we on the football field. Shoot, I didn't know that. Right? And just thinking about when you need a respiratory therapist. And so I took this and I shared it on all my social media platforms and gave that team a huge shout out. I'm on the employee recognition committee. Sometimes folks just want that, yo, you did a great job. Like, yo, you did your thing out there, yo. And I think the respiratory therapy profession, sometimes we're kind of like just left out. It's always like the doctor and the nurses, and it's just like, well, we there too. There's a lot of in-betweens, with the PAs, and there's a bunch of us in there. But once something happens to your lungs, or imagine that we are cardiopulmonary specialists, and when you say that, sometimes people are just like, oh, okay. But when you see something like that, you're like, oh, and that helps recruit new blood into the profession. So I give kudos also to the AARC and the MBRC, because when they saw the story, they didn't sit on it. They ran with it. They saw it and they followed the story all throughout, and that was they did good, and I'm very happy to see that. It was very refreshing to see that, and I hope we can continue the momentum of continuing to share these stories across the country, because we everywhere. We're such a diverse profession, and we are in so many settings, so we need to share these stories. So when it comes to storytelling and sharing your story, Oprah said something that really stuck with me, and we all know she's a huge communicator, and she's made a lot of money from it. So she said that why she's good at what she do is because she's good at sharing stories that she know other people can hear the story and be like, yes, that happened to me too. She said there's no story that is isolated to that one person, even though the person believes that, or we believe that the story is it just happened to us. So it's a human connection. And so and what it does is it makes, so when you share the story, you're empowering another person, or maybe you were the brave person to show that this happened to me, or this is why I made the decision that I made, or this is how I ended up how I got where I got. You know what I'm saying? Or I started from down here and I'm up here, but I went through a lot of ups and downs, and this is what inspires and encourages, motivates, and empower other people. So we shouldn't let fear, if we want to share a story, we shouldn't let fear stop us from sharing that story, because it could really help another person out as well as yourself. And that's what I have learned. I didn't know even for me, when I present, storytelling is my presentation style. I didn't even know that. So until I'm like, yeah, I tell stories a lot, you know what I'm saying? And if you follow me on this podcast on RT Share T, you're gonna tell that, like, yeah, Linda likes to tell her stories. And so advice I have for overcoming the fear of sharing your story or storytelling is share it first with loved ones, or people that you trust. Like, just have them sit down, and you could be sitting down too, and you just share the story with them. And I speak with my hands, and just talk and see how the person feels. Or you can even do what I'm doing now. You could just turn on your phone, put it, do a selfie, and just tell the story and watch it back. And this will help you to overcome the fear. 'Cause I remember the first time I had to do a presentation, I wanted to share the perspective or the journey of me being the director of the asthma program, like, and how I ended up at that job, why I took that job, and I had to, I had to do it. I did it for like 4 of my coworkers, and when I told the story, they were like, "Wow, that's deep." And you guys have heard that story before, of me, working on the night shift on a level 1 trauma center in 2010, and me meeting a young boy that went into cardiac arrest 3 times due to status asthmaticus. And as I was putting him on the vent, I got eye contact with the grandmother, and I felt that her heart broke in half as I caught eye contact with her. And the story was that she was in the kitchen cooking, and he was in the living room playing, and she did not realize he was having a full-blown asthma attack. So it broke her heart to see me put him on a vent, and it broke my heart when he didn't make it by the end of the shift. And it was the first shift I cried after. And my husband said, "Well, Linda, you've seen children die before. Why this case?" And I said, "Well, because I know for a fact that woman has to live for the rest of her life that her grandson died in her care. And that hurt me. And I never want that to happen again." You see what I'm saying? So that is my story. And it's a real story. So when I shared that with my first presentation live, the host of the person who invited me to speak, I want to give a huge shout out, by the way, to Al Quinones, who recently had a death in his family. And I just want to say we thinking about you and prayers to you. But I always thank Al for inviting me to speak at his seminars and being a part of the team. And so Al was like, at that seminar, one of the first ones I did for him, he was like, dang, Linda, I was gonna cry. Is that real? And I said, yeah, it's real. That's a real story that really happened to me. And so, I value the fact that I'm able to share that story, and other people being like, you know what, that happened to me too. I've experienced that as a respiratory therapist, as a healthcare professional, as a, working in this type of a line of work. And so I have learned, just how you saw me repeat that story, I've kind of learned different ways to say it. If I have to say it shorter, or if I have a little more time, I could go more in detail. Another thing is, just know your style of talking. Like I said, I talk with my hands. I'm not really apologetic for it. It's just one of my things. I just try not to distract people with it, but it's a part of how I talk, and I talk to everybody like this. Also, when I tell the story, there are times when my eyes, I'm looking at the person or the people or the audience, and sometimes my eyes go back because I'm literally replaying the story. I'm there mentally. I went back in time to that time, and that also helps me to bring out the story in its fullness, because all the emotion comes back, and that also helps me to share stories. Another thing that helps with overcoming the fear of sharing your story, keep repeating it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, practice makes progress. So you'll get better with time. And like I said, I have learned different versions, for different ways of how to share the same story. And so if I got 3 minutes, I can share it. If I got 30 to an hour, I can share that version of it too. So I'll tell you that. Ooh, know your intentions of sharing the story. So what is your intention for what you're trying to for the story you're giving to the audience, or that you're trying to tell, or even post? This helps me to stay focused and knowing what the intention are behind that. What are you doing? A call of action, or you just want to bring awareness to something? Just know what your intentions are. So for me, this helped me with stopping to ramble, and I still work on it, because I feel like for me, my mind downloads so much information. Like I start getting flashbacks and remembering everything, and then I'm just like, I'm lost. So we want to just stay focused and remember what is the intention, what is the selling point, what is the call of action. So that helps. And storytelling, show and tell. Like people just that's what Instagram is, right? Instagram is show and tell. Remember back in the day when you was in school, you had to bring like, a toy or some kind of assignment where you had to bring something in, and you had it with you, and then you had to tell the class, well, what's so important about it, or why was it your favorite, or whatever. So show and tell. And this, once again, will help people to connect. So I do something like on my posts on LinkedIn and Instagram, like I'll show like a success list of the day. So it basically shows people in my role. Not a lot of people have my role as a respiratory therapist, running the asthma program, and being both in the hospital, in the community, and in patient homes. I basically let people see, well, like what does my day look like? And I think that gives people a better lens of, oh, okay, I might like to do a role like that, right? So show and tell, so when you have your pictures, your video, once again, what is your intention behind that post or that video? So, and I think what I have been trying to do is, once again, just share good stories that display positivity around respiratory therapy and the respiratory care field, and just, even speaking to respiratory care students across the country, just letting them know, like, hey, this is a good field. This is a good field. You're going to be able to take care of your family. You're going to be able to make your money. You're going to be able to help people, and you're going to be able to learn and grow. And you know what I'm saying, and you don't need to listen to the grumpy folk out there. And so I think that we should be out there helping organizations such as the AARC and the MBRC, which having campaigns on recruiting more respiratory therapists. We are very, very short. We all know that. So we should all be out here helping to promote the positivity and sharing stories, and they can't do it by themselves. So we should be helping them share stories across the country, because once again, we in all these settings, we come in all communities, and we do so much. But anyway, that's pretty much it for today. We're just going with the vibe of sharing this, caring, and pumping out that positive energy out there, especially in the healthcare field, especially in the respiratory care field. Remember, guys, that we are here every Wednesday on most of your podcast platforms, and we are also here on YouTube every Thursday. So yes, so please, guys, and know that we are growing together, and there is so much more to come. I'm very, very excited for 2023. Alright, guys, so thank you for being here with me once again, and remember to invest in yourself and to only compete with yesterday's version of you. See you next week.